Good morning, everybody. Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, thank you for this day and thank you for the blessings you give this county, Lord. And I just pray that you watch over each and every one of our county employees, keep them safe, help us with doing what is right for Linn County in this meeting. Give all glory and praise and honor in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Raise your right hand for me. Do you, Danielle Renee Souza, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of Linn County Clerk, so help you God? I do. You will go ahead and sign here. Congratulations. Very good. Do that a bit. So I'm going to leave that with you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
coming
Judge.
this morning. Have a good day.
And we'd just like to welcome Danielle Souza as our new clerk, who was appointed, last week ago Sunday. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have the claim sheet as far as
It's right there.
it's in there. Okay, maybe I'm not looking. There you go. I make a motion, we approve the claims in the amount of $616,969.56.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye. Sorry.
Okay.
This was off.
Do you have a total on these abates as far as the total, which way it is? Or just each one?
It's just each one.
Okay. Well, let's see here.
Do you want me to read them off? Or?
Do you want to read them?
I don't know. Should we?
We can. Or the totals we need to anyway, I suppose, which way it is.
Do you want them to total it up and we come back to it?
Yeah, we can get
We're
it.
going to have you total these
You want to
up
just get
and then
the
we're going
total
to come
if
back
it's a
to that as
negative or a
debates.
plus, whichever way it is, and we'll just read the numbers off.
Okay.
We'll get back to it.
We'll come back to it later. You have anything else, Rose, for us besides that?
That was it.
Okay.
Thank you.
AMR?
Good morning.
Good morning, Don Brooks with AMR. I've got totals for this last week, February 2nd through February 9th. Blue Mound had 4 calls and 2 transports. Centerville, 3 calls, 2 transports. Lacine, 2 calls, 0 transports. Linn Valley, 1 call, 1 transport. Mound City, 4 calls, 2 transports. Pleasanton, 9 calls, 8 transports. Prescott, 1 call, 1 transport, for a total of 24 calls and 14 transports this week. Any other questions for me?
Everything else going good?
Everything's going well, yeah.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff's report. Let's see, we had 61 prisoners, 1 farmed out, 54 farmed in. Daily income of $4,009. 911 calls 54. Jail contacts 4266. Total calls for service 552. Total civil service papers served 26. VIN inspections 6. New cases open 14. Cases closed 4. Vehicle crashes 9. SRO activities 98. Bailiff contacts 143. And 3 livestock out. Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hagwald, Linn County Rural Fire Emergency Management. Sent out the weekly call totals. We had 5 calls last week, brings our yearly total up to 50. I'd like permission to hire Tom Hawbaker to Station 910, which is Mound City. They'll bring their current roster up to 9 out of 15 spots.
Good with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'll make a motion, we hire Tom Hawbaker to Station 910, depending on his, his drug test?
Pre-employment,
Pre-employment.
physical and drug
tests. That's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Reminder that tonight here at the Annex at 6 o'clock, we're hosting a free training to the public. It's Stop the Bleed. Talks about how to care for wounds and stop a bleed if you're in that situation. Tonight at 6 o'clock from 6 to 10, it is free to attend. February 24th, which is 2 weeks from tonight, at Pleasanton Community Center, we will have Fox 4 Jacob Lanier giving a weather talk going into spring. This will be a good talk to attend, talk about storms and what to look for. That's 2 weeks from tonight at 6 p.m. at the community building in Pleasanton. Last thing I have is the Centerville Station 930. We'll be hosting a chili feed March 1st at 6 p.m. They're doing this to raise station funds to help buy coolers for their trucks to keep their water cool and stuff like that. Free will donation. I encourage everybody to attend.
Wait, did you say Centerville?
Yes.
6 p.m.?
Yep.
And where was that again?
At the fire station
Fire
in
station.
Centerville.
Okay.
Yep. They done last year. The community actually reached out to them, said, "Hey, we really enjoyed this last year. Would you please do it again?" So
Okay.
they're going to do it again this year.
So these 3 events, have you been posting those on the Facebook, on your Facebook page? Do we have artwork and social media?
We did the Stop the Bleed. The Fox 4 just came through late last week, and it'll get posted today. And then the Centerville thing will be posted today.
When you have those, can you possibly get those to Chris so we can start putting them on the website?
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
That's all I have.
That's all I have.
All right.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Sheriff Akes, you want to come? We've already read your report, so.
Yes, sir. That's all right. I've got some things for you guys. there's one for each of you.
Okay.
You and this
Oh.
one's for Jason, but
Put this up there for Jason
So-
next week.
Jim asked me, sorry, Sheriff James Hanks. Jim asked me to look into juvenile detention and where we could send our juveniles. We've reached out to Douglas County and Johnson County. Both of them reported back they're the same price. They can do it on a on-call basis, and we can find placement. Everything here explains the per diem per day, and this is not a contract. It's just an agreement. It puts us in the system in order to have placement. Johnson County is working on sending us one also, so we'll have two options there. So it's a really good way to remedy our problem.
Is that something the commission will have to sign?
Oh, yes. This is, I just did the paperwork. You guys are going to have to agree on it and sign it and have your lawyer look over the papers, make sure that they're sufficient and everything. That's all it is. We just found a place to go.
Isn't a problem until we get this taken care of if we needed, I mean, do we need to?
They didn't act like it was a problem at all until you guys, and they didn't say anything. They just wanted this in place. So when they type up Linn County Sheriff's Office, we're already in the computer.
Yeah.
So it's,
Something we want to put on the schedule for next week so we can, when we all three of us are here.
Yeah.
I think you can get the one from Johnson County for us.
I hope so. I hope it'll have,
Yeah.
and we'll touch base with them and send another email and talk to them and see if they can go ahead and get it for next week. But it's the same thing. It's just going to
Do
be.
you want to see if he can get it by the 18th and then we can go over it and then bring him back to talk about it later?
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Does that
Yeah,
sound better?
so anyways, and then we had our meeting with Judge Harth on the soundproofing. She was on board with whatever we decide. They wanted to add a little bit more to the plan. Sean has all the numbers and everything like that. It's going to work out just fine.
Okay.
So, all
Everybody
right.
good with it?
Yep.
Good.
Yep, all the judges were good with it. Yep. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
James, have a
Thanks,
good day.
James.
Chastity.
Chastity? That's good for the farm ground, that's okay.
That's correct. I don't have a whole lot for you today, with the exception of I have handed you the bid that came into my desk on Friday for the land lease for the 9310 Thomas Road. Again, this is just for 1 year versus the 2 years or 3 years that it's been in the past, for the simple fact of getting them all on the exact same schedule.
We're gonna get
So-
on the same skip, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, putting it all on the same schedule. That's it. That's the only one I've got.
If you want to.
So for 2025, the bid is for 18,500 for this particular lease. Kenny Baugh, 2/6/2025. So 18,500.
So we need
Need
to
a
make a
motion?
motion to accept this.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Kenny Baugh for 18,500 for a 1-year lease on 9310 Thomas Road, Pleasanton, Kansas.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 So I will have that contract ready to go by this next week. He will need to sign it, and then I believe, Jim, you will have to sign it, so we have that on file legally.
Okay.
So, and if I can get it done before today is over, I will have him sign it before he leaves, and then you sign it, and then we'll get it going, if that's okay.
Good with
Fine
that.
with that.
And then the only other thing I have is, I believe you're going to be on a phone call with Mark Hagan in a little while, or at some point today. I need to ask for 5 minutes of legal counsel regarding that, or at that time.
So I think he's gonna be here. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember if he said he would be here or by phone, but I need about 5 minutes at that time.
Everything else good?
Everything's good. Slowly recovering. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, is Jesse there or you? Okay. Yeah, we will after this. I should have.
Jesse Walton, Operations Director for the Road Department. The cost summary was sent out to you. We've got 1,000 of the 1275 roads worked, 79% there. Service requests for the year, there was 565 created, 44 are currently open, 521 are closed. Service requests this week, we got 4 created. It says there's 3 still open. I know some of those got taken care of by Friday. Pleasanton, we went out, worked on some of the potholes on asphalt roads. Also worked on 800 Road, working on the potholes and washboards, getting it cleaned up. We had a couple of culverts, one down on Vernon Road between 700 and 600 Road that we changed out, and one also out on Zachary Road and 1250. Their dump truck had some wiring issues. Took care of those. It was just corrosion, just wear and tear on it. Mound City, they've been out fixing dirt roads and replacing culverts. We did have one culvert that was called in that we needed to take care of on 1525, and it was completed Friday. Got it taken care of. Our new hire, Curtis Brown, I believe you guys got a letter from him. Just wasn't a good fit, so if you guys, accept his resignation letter for,
Do we need to make
Do
a
we need to
motion
make a
for that?
motion?
I don't know, that's,
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the resignation from Curtis Brown from Public Works Department.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 thank you. We did have a couple of dump trucks go down in Mound City with some stop engine warnings. They were just sensors that we were able to get replaced and get those trucks back up and going. Our sign truck should be done over at Oaks Ford this week, and then we're going to schedule its annual inspection and get it up to Kansas City so we can get that annual inspection done on it. We did have another pickup that just had a couple of minor repairs that needed to be done over at Oaks Ford, and we should have it back this week. The landfill truck that we've been working on up in the North Shop, we should have it done today. We did have to put a new computer in it. So I'll find out later today, but it should be back up and running, hopefully back to the landfill by end of day. They did put a spare tire mount and spare tire on the hazardous waste trailer at the request of Chris Martin, so that did get taken care of. The North Shop, they were out all week blading roads, hauling rock, fixing the soft spots up there. They got trucks ready for the weather that's coming in this week. They were finishing that up this morning. And then they were all headed out to go work on cleaning brush up along the roadways that still needed to be cleaned up. Couple things there on the countywide part. Enbridge did get in contact with me Friday, said they were planning to start on March 1st on their pipeline maintenance. Everything seems to be looking good, and they'll reach out to me here in about another
What
2
are they
weeks.
wanting from you for?
They just wanted to know if there was any spots they needed to do a temporary access to where the pipelines were at. I went and looked at those. There's filled entrances right there next to their pipelines. So I told them if they did need one, just get a hold of me, and we could install just a gravel going in so they can get in and out, and then we'll just remove it when they're done. So it doesn't sound like they're going to be in those spots very long. The longest spot they're going to be in is the one up here by Lacine Lake. That they got quite a stretch up there they got to work on, but the rest of them are really short stretches that they need to do some maintenance on.
Okay.
I'd like to start putting together a plan for the chip and seal this year, and also for the roads that we need striped. We discussed that earlier. I'd like to start putting something together to that if that's something we want to go forward with this year.
Well, I think we need to chip and seal, I mean, for sure.
Okay.
Where are we on the striping on
So we had decided to wait till the weather got better, but also pick the roads that are going to be a couple years out before we chip and seal those, to stripe those, at least put a center stripe down them. We've had several requests for that over in the, between Parker and Blue Mound area over there. And we desperately need a stripe down that road for sure.
You thinking like March, April?
As soon as it warms up, I imagine end of April, 1st of May. See where that is. We'll get a good bid from the people we've used to stripe the roads before. So we'll get all that put together, try to get as many miles as we can done this year.
Get the stripes on as many roads as we can. That's a ways out before we
Correct.
resurface or
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. That way we're not just gonna pave over what we've striped. So, yep. We do have a couple of culverts we're gonna wait for the weather to warm up just a little bit more. We understand Bettis Paving is gonna be putting a hot plant in on the north end of the county, which will be really good for us because the travel distance to bring hot mix down to patch the roads is quite a distance right now. But we have several culverts crossing paved roads that we do need to get repaired and fixed. So that'll be coming up. So we'll,
one over on 10-9 or 1077.
Correct.
It's sank again.
Yep, it's settled a little bit on either side. So there's that one, and then there's a few around Blue Mound, some out here by Prescott that we're going to do. So those will be coming up. One thing I want to get direction on that, is that something you would like us to put a notice out when we're 2-3 weeks out that we're going to be shutting those roads down to get those culverts replaced for detours to go around them, so the public's aware of that?
People, in case will you shut it clear down, or
We'll have to shut it clear down to pull the whole culvert at once, and then put the culvert in. I don't think we'll be more than 2 days per culvert.
I'd say
I think that it would be nice to
Better
let
put
them
it-
know. How are you letting them know? How do you do that?
Well, that's why I'm asking you, do you want to have this on in the paper? Do you want it, how would you like us to go about that? Because I do want the public to be informed, because there's one that over here in Pleasanton, on Thomas Road, as you come off, going into Pleasanton by the old racetrack, that whole culvert needs replaced across that road. But that is one I would like to send out for bid, to have a contractor do that one. That one's quite a big project. But when we get to that, I'll bring that to you when we get ready to do that one.
The mobile sign, can we set that up and put like a date on it? Like, this is gonna be closed.
I think that'd be,
That would give
I
people,
think that'd be very acceptable.
I think that would be
Yeah.
acceptable versus the paper, or even maybe sending out letters, because we might not get them to the right people. So
Right.
well, what if we put it in the paper and on the website and the sign thing?
Okay.
I don't care about that. I think that for sure the sign, get that set up.
Okay.
Is that-
For sure the sign.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can get with whoever if we want to put that on the county website also, to know there'll be a road closure in those areas. So, okay. Anything for me?
Don't think I have.
I think I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Kent, you want to come up here? We're going to introduce our new planning and zoning coordinator we hired this week. This is Kent Harris.
Good morning, Kent.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Well, it's yet to be seen. Doing well, thank you.
Awesome.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell everybody. So,
Well, spent most of my career in law enforcement. I was a fire marshal in Olathe for 22 years. Worked with planning and zoning there, as well as council and the chamber, bringing businesses into town and making sure things were good. Enjoyed that. Went to the sheriff's department after I retired from there, and then retired again. We lived in Lenexa, and they were so busy bulldozing everything down in Lenexa to build it up. They wanted to be Overland Park. So my wife just looked at me one day and said, "We're leaving." So, and here we are. We're in Pleasanton. So we're happy to be here, and hopefully I can bring some experience. I know that I was talking to Sean this morning. I'm in the deep end of the pool. This morning I didn't have a life jacket on, but he's been pretty good so far, holding my head above the water, because we're trying to get a few things squared away and computers set up and
Roll
some of the, all the important things that are going to be needed to get the job done. But hopefully I can be an asset to Linn County.
I guess you have a planning and zoning meeting tomorrow night too, don't they, or do they?
Yeah.
I think there is one.
I think there's one on the schedule.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night.
Yep. Unless the weather decides to do something for us, and I'm not sure what that's going to do yet.
Okay.
So
Well,
Welcome here.
congratulations.
thank you very much. Appreciate
Glad
it.
to have you. Thank you for coming.
Sean?
Morning, Commissioners. Sean West, Road and Bridge Administrator. Due to a last-minute change in my agenda that came over the weekend, can I get 5 minutes for non-elected personnel so we can cover a few things, and then that'll help me get the rest of the meeting lined out?
You want it right now?
Please.
5 minutes for
We do
non-elected.
5 for Chastity and Sean and get both of those.
Well,
out of the way.
Chastity needs legal, so we have to vote on Mark to get there. I don't think he's gonna be here to attend. We can get yours out of the way if you need it to. I'll make a motion, we go into executive session with Sean for 5 minutes for non-elected personnel.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we'll be back at 9:30.
Signature. I hope I spelled yours. SOU ZA, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
So this has for your signature, Jen, and then everything else as well. And then this is for that contract for Kenny. And then I will scan this in and send this to you because I think David sent me one of the contracts before. I don't know exactly, but I'll hold on to a copy as well. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Signatures. So come back.
Okay.
The meeting last week. Put in the minutes that Karen Sheridan did. And you did it. So you like
Are we back on? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No action from executive session.
Okay, obviously, we've met the new planning and zoning, director. Applicants were all notified last week, the ones that, were not selected for the position, and then he started today. I'm trying to get his computer, other stuff, work with IT and go through that process. Joyce was able to get a list of trucks to the fleet enterprise, and then I met with them on a Zoom meeting on Friday. I have another meeting scheduled later this week before your meeting with them, to go over those trucks and to make sure that I've got the trucks that are supposed to be mechanics trucks, signed truck, so that I have that list, not only to him, but he knows what is on those vehicles and that we've got a good start and you get an accurate representation of what he's proposing on that. The floodplain business that was brought to me, that information was transferred last week to Darren and handled between the state and him. I expect to see some notification at some point that that process was completed. Have an assistance application from the township governing Mount Carmel Cemetery. It was brought to our attention and theirs that that cemetery is very shaded, and with the snow and everything, they took in a lot of water and needed some gravel hauled. This project won't be able to be done until it dries out, and obviously we're going to get some more weather this week. But they're requesting that we assist them with hauling and spreading some rock there that they would then pay for. We'd send them invoices.
That the cemetery boards pay for the rock. We just do the labor of hauling it for free. Yeah.
Yes.
Do we need
I
a
don't-
motion on this or?
I think we need to have a motion, but I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, we've done it before. I'm good with it. It's,
Can't really do it.
yeah, if you want to.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the assistance application for Mount Carmel Cemetery. The request is for blading and possible rock if needed.
Okay. I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 And then I think page 2 has your signature block.
The chair, yeah.
10th.
Yes.
Hey, I was asked to look into K-Camp and the insurance to make sure that if we went after the swimming project at the county park, that we weren't wasting our time and they would insure it. After conversations with K-Camp this week, they did assure me that they would insure the project. I explained that there were 3 partners in this project. And they were familiar with these types of projects and said that that would not be an issue preventing us from going forward. They did ask that I send them a copy of our lease so that they could make sure that the insurance language was up to date from some of the statutes that had changed over the years. And I'll be working with them and then later with Jesse to get the measurements to start that project as we go along. I also contacted SHPO as for the courthouse, the roofing, the gazebo, and the projects that we've got going on that would be affected, including a culvert on Baskerville by the state historic preservation. They informed me that there are tax credits and Heritage Trust Fund grant programs that may affect these opportunities and may affect the way the county funds these opportunities. As far as the gazebo goes, the gazebo is not on the registry. So I made contact with Randy Page. Randy has found a partial solution to the column system. He's looking for a smooth edge system. One he found has a beveled edge and would stand out. But pretty much the answer to the gazebo is, as a courtesy, we would notify them of our plans, let them review those plans, and as long as we did not impact with what we did at the gazebo, impact the historic nature of the courthouse, then our decisions are our decisions, and the board is in total control of how we remodel that, because it isn't on the list.
What about the floor? Do we have to go through the Historical Society to fix the floor in Danielle's office? Is it?
Yes, we have to give them a plan and let them know how we intend to fix it. We also, if they and we disagree, it would come back to a meeting and then a decision by this board how to fix it, because in the end, this is your building, but there is some steps and hoops if we disagree. I believe that's going to be the first thing we need to tackle, and that can be done through these programs and maybe get some funding. The biggest thing about that flooring issue, from what I've spoke to Randy, is it's going to be color matching.
Right.
It's
It's not going to be a huge dollar figure, I don't think. It's just matching of the floor. But
And the color matching is going to be the overall issue. How much of that floor do you match? So
I'm for fixing the floor, aren't you? Admitting floor.
I'm okay with fixing the floor, but I thought the issue was in the basement with the humidity coming up, the heat coming up, it's rising. So if you fix the floor and you don't fix the problem, the floor is just going to keep having a problem. Have you been to the basement?
the ventilation
Yeah, it's just,
for the steam pipes and the humidity down there, I understand, is
so
what
until
originally
the
cost.
basement is fixed.
Do you think our salt deal is going to help with anything? with
No,
what's
I
going
just
on
went
there?
out there. It's just, you can go stand over the floor and you have heat just blowing through the floor. It's just steam. There's no reason to fix the floor if you don't fix the basement. Does that make sense? Have you been there? Been down-
I've been down there. As far as the cause of the pipes, I mean, you're always going to have humidity and steam from that system. I mean,
I've
it
been-
works on
it's
it.
a couple of years since I've been down.
But there are 3 pipes that, so 2 of them have the aluminum, like the covering that goes above.
Yeah.
And the one that doesn't is that's where the problem is with the floor. And you can stand over the cone in the clerk's office and you can feel the heat just
And that,
flowing through the.
when we repair it, that would be and Randy would have to be the one to confirm this. That would be my understanding that that shield mechanism that you're talking about to keep it from impacting the wood would have to be put on at that time.
Well, the shield is there. It's just sitting in the basement. It needs to be
Well, it's not put back.
attached. Yeah. I think that could get done this week, if possible.
The shield's there and it's not
It's
on.
just
That's what you're
sitting
saying.
there. It's not on. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Uh,
Can you get, who does that? Maintenance?
Maintenance would do that.
Okay. That should probably be done this
I haven't
week.
been over there. I mean, I haven't. It's been 2 years since I've been in there, so it's no.
The shield is there. It's not attached.
Okay. I'll ask maintenance to recover the shield and see if there are any parts and
That
to
sounds good.
replace it.
Well, so the plan on the floor and the roof, SHPO will not come down until we submit a plan, or will they come down and help us with the plan? Because I
roof-
thought Katrina would come down and go walk this area. That's what they usually do. They come in and they walk through the buildings, they look at everything, look at the things that we want to replace or upgrade, and then they give a report as well. So I just don't want to spend a lot of time.
That's what one of the contractors told me, and I know nothing about this, but they said
Yeah.
you can get them involved. And
It just-
even what my understanding is, even with what we got paid, that if they get up there and they see more damage than what it is, they can negotiate with our insurance on the payment.
So
Correct,
I
as
just
far
don't
as the
think
roof.
that we're qualified
on roof.
to submit the plan when we're going to submit the plan, and then they're going to come back and say, that's not going to work. I just don't want to waste time when we could just ask Katrina to come down here with the state, walk through it all, and just put it all out there.
Well, yeah, like you're saying, maybe the contractors in the state and
Yeah.
everybody in one group. I mean,
And the
get
state,
everybody here so we know what's going on, because these contractors aren't going to want to come back,
Well, and I would agree with you as far as that we need to do this one time and we don't need to stop. The flooring itself, I believe, is simple enough that we can get the repairs done while we work at the other issues, because the roofing is also going to be involving the steeples and the woodwork, the wrought, the things that are up there, maybe some brickwork and tuck pointing. And we all know that there's foundation issues. So I think the building itself from the roof down is going to be one large project that we're going to have to talk about and ask about funding, credits, and look at how we do that with one contractor that is able to work with the state and develop that plan and get that pushed through so that we get the funding opportunities to help us out and to fix it. The floor itself, I see as a more emergency, get it done, get it over with problem while we work long-term to fix the building as itself, the whole thing.
I would agree, but I thought you just said that the state had to approve the plan for the floor. So that is
Yes.
why I said, let's have them come here. If you're saying that's an emergency, let's do that. I agree with you, but I thought you said that the state still needed to approve the floor.
Yes, and
So that is why I need them to come here first to approve the floor and everything.
I think
Well,
we reach out to the state and tell them what we're
But
doing and how
there's
big a
never-
problem
yeah.
we got with the floor, and see, if,
the floor itself, Randy advised me he and I could type up their answer and send in for their approval to go through their process. I can schedule a time for them to come down and work with them about that. But I believe the floor, the reason I say that I would treat it separately is Randy pretty much says he and I can do the application, get it up there and start the process on that floor while we're waiting for the rest of it to get moving.
I'm fine with that, but that's also the clerk's office. So I think you're going to have to be working
it'd have to be a weekend type
directly
deal
with you
probably.
guys. You're fine with
We
it.
will work around it.
Well, I talked to Randy when I brought it, and Randy said it wouldn't be a problem for him to do
We
it on
just need
evenings or
to
evenings.
shift the
if,
desk over
Okay.
and it's okay to do that. It's ready to do that.
So the application for the flooring, you want to go ahead and submit the application to replace the flooring.
I would like to get started on that.
Let's start with that, and then we'll move on to having the state come here if for the roof and the other.
Yes, because all of that may be something that we need to get a contractor who has someone on board to describe those materials, to make that plan with the state, because this is going to be very involved and out of my wheelhouse. I mean, 2-inch tongue and groove, I can describe and all that and possibly get through this for this one small piece. The rest of it, we may, I mean, this is a lot larger project. You're talking foundation all the way through the roof.
We're just talking the roof right now though, right?
I thought we were just talking about a roof, but again, I
Yeah.
think that the state needs to come here and do a complete evaluation.
I think Randy's on board. We have a contractor. Randy will go along with this deal, I'm sure, to where he's there to be our ears on the construction side, I'm sure.
My concern with the roof is what's below the rot, obviously, some steeples and some other
We're
things.
going to have to get the state to see what it's going to take to fix it. I mean, we're going to have the state down here, I believe. So.
Yeah, and the assessment of it, I mean, you're talking about the height, the difficulties. I mean, we had to do the roof assessment partially with a drone, so this is much more detailed than this floor. This is a much longer project.
Oh, I know that. I just didn't want them to come down and not evaluate everything at one time. So I would like him to move forward with the floor
I would too. I'd like to get the
application.
floor done.
Let's just start with the floor application. And also this week, I would like maintenance to put the cap over the steam pipe, if possible.
Yeah,
Also, if that, I mean, it's just sitting there, so I
if
think
it's
that's
there,
the
it needs
thing.
put back. I'm thinking, or every reason why it isn't on.
Yeah, it's just blowing through the cone into the office.
Okay.
So
We
Okay,
can move forward, I guess, with the gazebo too. I mean, as far as what we want to do there, we don't have to talk to anybody if we decide what we're going to do.
if Randy's able to come up with a plan, come in and tell you what he's planning, and then we're able to articulate that and write that down. If you approve it to the state, then yes, they would approve it and we would move forward.
I'm good to get Randy moving on
Yeah.
that myself, so it's,
can Randy come in on the 18th for the gazebo plan?
I'll see if he's got one ready. I mean, he's had difficulty, my understanding, is finding smooth pillars that are hollowed out, that are structural. He's found some that are beveled, but he's having problems finding the parts.
I think Jason's going to be gone the next week. Let's just set it up for 3 weeks if you want to, and then we'll.
I think Jason will be here the 18th, but then not the 24th.
Right.
Okay.
Let's do it for
So
next week.
can we have Randy come in
Do we
on
have
March 3rd?
Do we have anything else there? Just
AMR in Linn
AMR for
County.
their contract. Yeah, that's fine. Put it on the 3rd.
Okay?
Can you get with Randy on March 3rd?
Yes.
Okay,
For the gazebo.
for the gazebo plan. And an update on the flooring cover on March 3rd. I want to make sure he's,
Know where we're at on the 3rd for the floor too.
yeah, the flooring plan.
Okay.
I have a question on Christmas lights. So I would like the Christmas lights to be taken down by February every year. And there were some issues with the appraiser's office. I think that they put them up this year and then they moved and they're not going to take them down. And we put work orders in all last week. Joyce helped me with that. I think you were in the office. But I don't think we should have to put a work order in for Christmas lights to come down every year. I think that this should be under maintenance. I think if the appraiser's office isn't going to do it any longer, I think that we just need to have it. I mean, I don't know if it needs to be in a job description, but it's like that's a duty of hopefully maintenance to just take it down if possible. Is that something we need to add to a job description, or is this something that we can just say this is, I mean, we're going to put Christmas lights up after Thanksgiving and we're going to take them down in January? Is that, I just don't feel I should have to come in and ask about it or file a work order.
Well, typically wasn't done by maintenance, so maintenance had no
Oh,
involvement.
I understand that.
Um,
It was the appraiser's office, I believe, if I'm
That's who put
understanding
it
it.
up, was the appraisers.
I
And
know
then
that they're done with that. I'm trying to move forward with a different plan. I'm not blaming maintenance at all. That's not my intention.
and
It's
I'll
just-
get with maintenance. One of the things that is difficult about that is that caroler silhouette, I guess I describe it as. That is a very heavy piece of sheet metal. And typically how we've moved it the last couple of times is instead of driving a truck out there and manhandling it upright and bolting it down, we've taken a skid steer out there, put it on straps, lifted it up, done that. So I would say that most of what you're talking about is timeline doable, but that part, so that we don't tear the yard up, might be weather.
Yeah,
formidable.
that's fine. Jesse's gonna get to that. We already talked to Jesse about taking the silhouette down, but just in general, I know Chris handles the judicial center, IT. So, and then I just want to make sure somebody has it on their radar every year that we're putting them up at this time and we're taking them down at this time and who's doing it.
And we do send manpower to assist with that on
On the courthouse.
Yeah, on the judicial center and on the courthouse as needed, because neither one are one-man jobs.
We probably just need to sit down and come up with a date and when we want them up and when we want them down.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You want to check with maintenance and see what they think and we'll come back with an answer in a week or two?
I'll let you know next week and find out how the logistics works out, and we can pick a date. So
Sounds good to me. Let's just come back next week and talk about what the plan is for 2025. See if maintenance is okay with that. And you're sending your crews out to help with this. So hopefully that wouldn't be a problem getting there at a certain time. It's not like it's one person, you know?
Well, you got,
The
I mean,
entire public.
if we put the date back far enough after Christmas is over, you've got 60 days. I mean, if you put the date, or 40 days, I mean, you can put your date far enough out that.
I think we can get it done, 2025. Do you have anything else, Sean?
yes.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm taking notes.
that's okay.
953C loader down over at the landfill. I'm looking for replacements, but I haven't got anything yet. When I do find replacements for that, we're looking at used equipment. I'm probably going to try to get it close enough that I can send maintenance personnel out to look and evaluate the records and the machine itself, so we get a good understanding of what the equipment we're looking at or recommending would be in what condition.
I asked last week how many hours we put on that. Does anybody have any idea what we've averaged hourly for a year? For hours? Because I just, my mind is, I don't know how many hours it is. Maybe we could look at leasing something. I mean, I'm not saying we'd do it, but it might be an option. If we look at hours, we put on it a year.
I'd have to look at the newest sheets, I know we've had that piece for about a decade.
I mean, we talked about the hours last week is what I'm saying. That's the reason why I'd like to look at the hours because, and then look at a lease option, you know, on one.
I mean, and it all comes down to like with the Pub Works and the subscription that we have with Pub Works, all that stuff can be tracked through Pub Works. Mileage, hours, all that stuff. It's just a program that I feel like it's just underutilized, and I think we're still waiting on Chris to come back to have any sort of answers from Pub Works or what we're doing with Pub Works.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, how are you tracking it? I guess I need to know, how are you tracking that then?
Tracking what?
Mileage, hours,
It's all through that program.
through Pub Works?
Hmm.
Well, I don't see it. How do you see it?
I haven't seen it.
If it's tracked through Pub Works, I don't understand how we cannot look through Pub Works as a commissioner and track everything without having to ask you what the hours are. I would love to just look at Pub Works and say, oh, this is how many hours.
Well, I think we should be able to pick up any piece of equipment that we have on a monthly's good enough to know exactly how many hours or miles we have on it. And break it down into years to where we can look back and say, you know, we put 25,000 miles on this vehicle this year, you know, and that's, I'd like to see that myself.
I think we pushed out some reports in the past similar to that as far as mileage or hours on vehicles, depending on what type of vehicle it was and the years on them when we did our.
What I'm saying is we should be tracking them all, every one of them on a monthly report of some kind to look at it and see how many miles or how many hours we put on equipment on a monthly basis. We should have that.
And what I think, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm hearing Sean say is we do that.
I don't see
But
it.
we don't see it. So how do we see it?
As far as how do you look into the program
Well,
or have access to the program?
I was pretty sure I know we don't have access to the program. I think we were asking, or I know I was asking, can I get access to the program to see? And I think Chris was maybe looking into that, but it's about the users and how many users we have. And then if you gave me access to it and I went in there and I did something wrong and I messed something up, there were a million concerns of why we shouldn't have access, but I've heard you speak and ask some of the same questions.
What I'm saying is like you guys do a good job of the roads you grade and everything else, but another page of that report could be the graders. How many actual hours we put on that grader this month, or how many miles we put on the trucks. And we could have a report on that to where we could just look and see, you know, as far as what we are doing with our equipment.
So-
Hours and grader hours and dump truck miles or any equipment really, tractors. I mean, all of our equipment we could look at.
What are your thoughts on giving us a Pub Works demonstration in here for all of us and the commissioners? Showing us, you know, how you process, how do you do the work orders, how those are tracked, how do we find the hours, how do you guys print the reports?
We can print about any report you ask. It's just the data, like Commissioner Johnson was saying, you ask it monthly, pull these pieces of equipment for what hours, and then you ask, and you print a report, and then I email it out to you. It's just what report you want dictates what we develop and what we send to you. And
I understand that. I just feel like I don't even know what to ask. I don't know what equipment we have. I don't know how many. I mean, do you know
We've had lists. He's got
Okay,
lists.
I haven't seen anything yet personally. So coming in, I just feel like I didn't have anything.
Well, with the discussion on enterprise leasing and coming up and things, what I'll do is I'll print and send out the total list of equipment by department. That way you'll have it, because that will become important for that discussion.
That will help me have an understanding of
Can
what
we
we
put the
have.
mileage and the hours on each of them equipments too on a monthly type deal? Is there any way we can put a form up to where it's printed once a month that I can see the greater one and see the hours?
Let me check to see how, the quick answer is yes, but how that's done and what it looks like, I don't know.
Okay.
How to describe it. I'll have to go find it and find out what it looks like. Because the machine's as smart as a person asking it the questions.
Understand. It's probably there if we can just get to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
While we're talking about Pub Works, can we put Chris Martin on for February 24th for an update on Pub Works and G Works? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. The roll-off RFP that I sent to you is ready to publish. If you don't have any concerns with it, then I'll go ahead and publish it this week.
For the trucks?
Yes.
Is that in SharePoint?
Yeah, you gotta go back, you gotta get in your, download it and go to your files. It's a little different with that zip drive. It's
Okay.
you gotta download your files and then go to it.
Okay, I got it. Okay, well, I cannot open it yet. Do we need a motion?
I think all I need is a head nod from you to push it out.
Yeah, just send it out for a bid. We're not doing anything. I don't think we need anything yet. All he's done is going out for
okay.
bids. I'm good. with
I'm
that.
fine with that. I'm still trying to get into.
KDHE advised that they will have a written answer to us on the compactors this Friday.
No Zoom.
They haven't set that up. Their first thing I'm waiting on is their written answers.
Hey, go back to the K camp on the lake up there. Can they give us a cost of what the insurance will be for that?
Not until we give them a total plan, but I think from what he was telling me, it may be that the operation itself is already covered in that.
With that?
So it may be because of the type of operation. So if there is a cost, I'm not assuming that it's going to be a large cost. But until we give them the totality of the project and what it would add, they were more concerned about swimming pools. So
I guess what I don't know if it matters where my opinion is on the swimming area. But I would be very concerned about allowing swimming in that area with all the contamination that's going on in Montrose. So I would just want to make sure they know, I guess the water samples, do they do those first? Will they be, for like, if we're going to allow swimming in that area, my concern would be for the contamination from the power plant. Will they be doing any sort of studies prior, and will that cost the county any financial burden? Or let's say we allow the swimming and then 10 years later, there are issues with heavy metals, toxins, and I'm just trying to understand like long-term the liability too with K-Camp.
well, we would be talking about environmental concerns before we propose the project, but that would be with Wildlife Parks, who has a lease on the water, because currently there are people pulling fish from the water and everything else. So I can't tell you what they do, but their comfort level is to the point that there is fishing and wildlife sports going on the water where those fish are consumed.
No, I understand. I just personally just have a different opinion about it. But my concern would be we allow the swimming and then the insurance covers. You're thinking a drowning or some sort of accident like that for insurance liability. And I'm wondering if 10 years we get sued over something else that correlates with water contamination, how that would affect the county.
I couldn't answer that at that point. We're
Okay.
way too early in the process
Well, I
to.
guess you were talking about insurance and how much that was going to cost. And so while we're talking to the insurance, I'm just wondering if something later down, like if they come back to us and say 10 years ago, will they still cover us as far as like insurance goes?
Once we submit to them and they send us a policy of what coverages are, then I assume we'd have a full, what you're talking about. We'd have a full list of what they cover and what they don't,
Okay.
what
That's what I'd
liability,
like to
what
see prior.
liabilities they cover.
So with that, then we'll finish just getting insurance information with the swim beach area.
Well, he said K Camp's
And K
gonna
Camp?
get with us on even designing it, you said, right?
Well,
Move forward on it.
they asked for our lease, and then the next step, they were just wanting to update our insurance and the lease and things if necessary, or make sure we were current. And then the next thing that we need to do is do the water levels in the
We're
design.
not gonna have any lifeguards on this swimming area anyway, so it's gonna swim at your own risk. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. Something to talk about.
Met with Randy and Sherry at the cabins this week, and a plan and costs are being worked up for reno on those. They were going over measurements for the floors, ceilings, some upgrades in those. And I think there'll be a report forthcoming in the next few weeks.
How many did they look at? Just all of them? Or?
They went through all of them. As far as I know, they went through and measured them all and looked at the bedding arrangements, because you could do some things allowed for changes and some things did not. The next thing I had on my list was the district court sound issues, and the sheriff was working with the court and myself to resolve this issue, but we had a meeting last week with the district court. We're looking at a little bit more cost after meeting with them. We looked at the windows and the coverage on those, but the plan would be to cover the windows with acoustic panels in both courtrooms and the jury room, door sweeps, and a denim insulation over the ceiling tiles, which would be replaced, that are hard plastic and not acoustic in nature, in the jury room. And all of this would come up just north of $3,300. In order to do this, if we wanted to move forward on this project, the sheriff said that he would work with us and our maintenance staff to try to get this done without a labor cost. But I would ask, if we're going to move forward on this, that we approve up to 3,500 because of possible brackets and other things for the acoustic panels in the rooms that I don't know what it'll take to hang them.
And you said that's for both.
That's acoustic panels in both courtrooms, acoustic in the jury room, the tiles, door sweeps, and insulation in the jury room. And we've talked to the courts and judges and the clerks and received a favorable answer so far. Obviously, there's some concern that it may not fix all of the problems, but this is money that the sheriff and myself both agree, and along with the court, that if you're going to spend money, that this money's actually going towards the problem, not an evaluation of the problem. And
$4,900 for the evaluation before, so.
so we'd like to measure the acoustic values or noises in the rooms. We've got the device, and then implement the changes and then go back and remeasure.
What was the price last week that Sheriff Aches came in? I thought it was 2,000.
Yes, and then the reason it changed is because we addressed the windows that are in the jury room with large acoustic panels on both sides. And that was a concern that we had not addressed in our original plan. And you're correct, it nearly increased the estimate, roughly $1,000.
It was 2,200 last week, I think.
Yeah.
I
So-
haven't seen exactly what we're doing. I haven't seen numbers of how much each panel was going to cost. I've also had some phone calls of where the money and why the money was coming from the county. So I guess clarification for the public, according to Judge Hart this morning, would have been, this is a facility issue and it's not coming out of district court's budget.
We have to
Correct.
supply them a building.
We have to supply the building. So clarification on that. However, I do feel like we have a plan, and then we go in with the plan, it's 2,200, and then we consult the judge, and then it just basically doubled in a week. So I'm concerned. I'd like to see numbers. I'd like to see what we're actually purchasing. And I'm in my head, I feel like this is just going to keep coming back. It's going to be one more thing.
Well, the only thing that changed, and I would agree, it was $1,000. It didn't quite double, but it did increase by a third. Would have been addressing the windows, because when the sheriff and I originally discussed the plan and went over and made the plan, the windows were not taken in consideration. And the 4 large panels, the acoustic panels that cover those, there was a discussion about just blocking them in, sheetrocking them and covering them up. But we thought that the acoustic panels would do less damage to the building and help knock the sound down as they covered those windows.
So what, do you want to see a price list?
I mean, I would, a year ago, we talked about adding the door sweeps. Maintenance was supposed to add door sweeps. We've never added door sweeps. Maintenance has them. I mean, we haven't tried one thing, and then I just feel like we just get hit with another 1,000. We have the door sweeps, or we did, and maintenance was supposed to put those on.
Do we have the door sweeps?
I've never been aware that we purchased door sweeps for this project.
Okay.
Not that I was aware of.
I agree.
I know there was discussion on it, but I never knew that it was purchased.
I agree it needs to be fixed. I didn't know if it was, after I had the phone call, I didn't understand what budget and why. So I think I have clarification on that, I guess.
Their budget is just,
yeah.
if I'm wrong, but I think their budget is just for the operations of the district courts.
Yeah.
Ours is to supply them a building,
Okay.
is what I think.
Okay. So moving forward, we need to fix it, but last week it was a different price. Now it's more. I just want to know exactly what we're purchasing. And I don't see why we couldn't just start out with what we talked about last week. Is there a cost difference as far as?
Does it change the price any by waiting on the acoustics on the windows? Do what we talked about last week. Does it change the price of what we're buying anymore by doing that and then running?
No, all it does is leave out 4 panels. 4 of the They're 48 by 72 inch panels.
Does it cost, it won't cost us any more after we run the acoustic test on it to see where we're at after we do everything without the 4 panels?
The panels would still be the same price if we ordered them as a large group or as individual pieces.
So that's what you're saying. Can we do the $2,200 deal first and then see how much that decreased the decibels of the sound, leaving?
But we can do whatever, you ask us to do as far as, but I would encourage us to move forward on at least part of the project and start getting it done, because it's going to take time to order all this in, get all that stuff done, and we're going to be moving towards, at some point, the next jury trial and the next problem they have with the noise and the sound.
How low do we have to change a decimal or where we're at now, the noise for the courts to be satisfied?
I don't know that anybody is, as far as their knowledge of sound engineering, knows how low we want it to go. All I can do is give you the numbers as a layman and tell you that it went down.
Is there a level somewhere where they say that's what a district court, courtroom should be? Is
I
there a
don't
level?
know that there's a standard for that.
There's no standard? Okay.
Is it audible? The standard that they're using is it audible for the people in the jury room to hear the court giving instructions that they shouldn't hear? And is it audible for the people in the courtroom that shouldn't hear the deliberations in the jury room?
Okay.
And if the two can be heard from the other room, then there's an issue.
I agree we have an issue. I just wanted to be clear on what we were fixing first and giving us a breakdown of what we're purchasing and then go from there.
Well, I can email you a cost. I've got the cost of each panel and the installation and the acoustics and the door sweeps in front of me. I mean, you're talking about 6 bags of insulation at $80 a pop for $480 for the Ultra Touch, which is a heavy denim insulation, unlike fiberglass. We currently use it above the IT room to knock the noise down. Acoustic ceiling tiles, we're talking about $439.04 on those. Those also would come from Home Depot. The door sweeps would be, for 2 of them, would be $40 at Home Depot. And 11 2-inch 72 by 48 acoustic panels from Acoustics America would be $2411.53. And the only thing we would be doing by knocking out 4 of those panels for the windows would be dropping that back to that original price. But I can tell you that the windows themselves are probably still going to be an issue if we don't.
What do you want to do? What do you want?
I say move forward with what James presented last week.
Yeah, move forward with the
Start, the 2,200 and see what it is at that point, and then I'm willing to go higher. It's just, let's do a little bit first. I according to Chris, the door sweeps were supposed to be installed, a long time ago. So I don't know. Hopefully we can, you want to double check to see if we have the door sweeps?
Well, I'll make sure that we don't have any of this in stock before I purchase it, obviously. And then I would assume the purchase, as we're talking, but I need to make it clear, the purchase would come out of the Courthouse General Fund for building or a capital building.
Courtroom.
Well, but the fund that it comes from is the Courthouse General Maintenance Building Fund.
Okay.
You're exactly right, but I'm just listing what that fund is and where it comes from, because there is no fund for that courtroom.
We don't have a fund for that. Okay,
You have a fund for maintenance of that building that is under the control of the sheriff, a past commission, but that pays for toilet paper, filters on the roof. That is a budgetary, that's not anything that was not planned for or contingency money. That was items that are already budgeted for and need to be maintained every year.
that's probably a clerk question because I don't know if it sounds like it should come out of the courthouse.
I actually, because I just got the job
Yeah.
today, I haven't had my eyes on the budget yet, so I'm not sure
No, it's-
what details
I-
needs to be categorized in.
I understand we have a new clerk, but prior to David's leaving, I asked about where this would typically be pulled from, and that was the
I'll
fund.
have Danielle and look into it a little bit more, but I'm okay with approving the 2,200.
So you're gonna make a motion for that?
Would you be okay with that one?
It's moving forward.
Okay.
I'm good with that. I mean, it isn't gonna cost us any more waiting to put the other pieces on it. I mean, it isn't gonna take any more to get it later.
Quite frankly, because there's 11 of them, I can move some of the same measured panels that are going in the courtrooms and try to cover the windows and move those panels around and see what I can do. We'll see what we can do and see what we can do as far as cost, and I'll move the panels around to see
That helps.
to see if it accommodates, whether hanging it on the wall or acoustically hanging over a window, and we'll see what we can do and we'll move on from there.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve 2,200 for maintenance on the facility in the judicial center for the courtroom. Is it courtroom 1 or I'm not sure.
Well, it's for courtrooms and jury rooms.
Rooms.
And if you could approve 23, is 22 something, I don't know what the number was. If you've got the number,
Back to the note.
if you've got the number in front of you, I do not.
Do you have the minutes? I can look at them. I'm sorry. I might be able to pull them up. Hold on. It'd be under pending minutes, I think.
Yeah, it'd be on the minutes sheet.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I have it pulled up here now. All right, but maybe it's easier to find here. It says cost of ceiling upgrade, $2,200 cap for jury room soundproofing and sound testing results, February 10th. So I'll make a motion for 2,200. I don't see the 23.
If you've got 2,200 was the cap,
Yeah,
then we adjusted it so that we were above it. So you would be correct.
okay. So that's my motion.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded.
Sorry.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Next thing I had for you was Tracy's general manager over at Sugar Valley. For whatever reason, it was relayed through some of our employees, and I spoke to her about it. She needed a dead end sign. We do have one that we took out of service for low reflectivity and damage that would suit the needs that they're looking at. I didn't have her fill out an assistance application or anything because it was just one sign. We're not talking about like
We've done
last
that
time.
before. We've gave
Yeah.
Valley even, I think, some old signs, let them,
So,
some old stop
If,
signs.
if you have no issues with that, I'll go ahead
I don't
and
have.
accommodate
I
that.
don't have any issues with giving her a dead end sign.
No, there,
Not a big
okay.
deal to me.
Second thing I spoke to her about was the northeast entrance at Hidden Valley Lake. We had quite a few conversations about this, spoke to their board, or one of their board members, I'm sorry, and learned how that it came to be opened up, and they are going to have a discussion on it next Monday. They have the original plat from Bourbon County and gained the paperwork to try to educate themselves and their board about what occurred. We also advised them that we can find no application where they made any application to cross our right of way. They're going to go to their board. Their manager will discuss that with them Monday, get back with me Monday night. So next Tuesday, I should be able to come in here and give you their solution and answer to that, and we should be able to move forward on that. I believe they're just going to inform the board that this is the information we found about the plat and about the applications that weren't filed with Linn County, and this is what we need to do to move forward. And then the board will give them whatever direction they give them, and I'll bring it to you. So.
Okay.
Transportation, we have a long block going in the bus, and it should be here by the end of the week. And that was covered under warranty. And I believe, unless you have something for me, that is all I have for you on this end. But I do have, whenever you want to take it up, I do have the staff report for CUP 2501, which is the consideration of a 2,160 square foot clubhouse at Tanglewood Lakes.
You want to talk about that today, or you want to wait till we get three commissioners? How do you want to do it?
Well, is that going to be brought up tomorrow night?
It's already been talked about,
already
right?
been-
Yeah, it's already been talked about, and it's ready to bring before you to read and get.
Do you guys want to wait till Jason's here next week, or?
It's up to you. It was approved by, my understanding, it was approved by the planning commission, meeting 2 weeks ago. And so we kind of like to get started and get all the permits going, and it's all right with you guys.
I'd like to wait till the 18th. I guess what I don't like is how it's brought to us and then we get to hear a paragraph. I would like to be able to review it prior to it coming to my desk. I haven't seen it. I don't like how it's set up to where the planning and zoning gets the application and then they have months, maybe years to go over a certain CUP. And then I get just 5 minutes to make a decision. So I would love to read over it before I make a decision on that. And I don't see how that process has been in place for years. Sean, why are you looking at me?
Well, the whole time you're talking, I'm trying to figure out the answer to solve the problem.
there's-
So I've
I don't-
got gears
okay.
working in my head to
Yeah,
try to keep up
okay.
with what you're saying.
Okay,
Oh.
sorry.
That's my
So,
confused look.
My problem that I have, a conditional use permit could, it could go for years through planning and zoning. We
Okay.
could have multiple discussions. And then I get to hear a paragraph.
Mark might be able to answer this if you want to come forward, Mark, if that's okay.
Yeah, Mark, come on up.
What I've seen in the past and what I would recommend you folks do is to address your concern directly is you get the issue on your agenda for a regular meeting.
Okay.
So you take it up and then the Planning and Zoning Commission presents it to you and you say, thank you for this information. We're going to table this until a future time. So you're not put in that spot where get it and decide the same time.
So you're saying go
Yeah,
ahead and listen to it today and then we can,
And table it until next week, the week after, or put it on the agenda next week and say, during the week, we reviewed this and we have these questions and we're tabling it again and we want to put it on next week or next month's agenda as well. So
Okay.
I agree with you 100%. This is not a good idea to be hit with something, get information and decide immediately. Take some time on it and use the tools that you have, which is say, thank you, planning and zoning. We're taking it, same with your planning and zoning director, anybody that comes here. Same with Sean. If you're getting hit with something that's complex, take it up, get some questions answered, table the issue, and then say, this is going on next month's or next week's agenda and we'll take it up again. And in between, we'll either communicate some questions directly from a commissioner to you, or as a group at the commission meeting, we're going to hit you with commissions in public. Would that help, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. And we've talked about this. So just want to make sure I understand the application. So when someone or a citizen would like to file a conditional use permit or whatever it may be, that goes through the planning and zoning director. When that application is submitted to planning and zoning, at that point, as a commissioner, if I have any communication, ex parte communication with the person that filed the application, I am required to publicly state that I've had communication with the person that was on the application.
Yes.
Or I am in violation.
Yes, well,
Okay.
the reason for that is we don't want you to have a conflict of interest when it comes time to sit at this
Okay.
table and make a decision.
And that's just
So-
with the person that's filed it.
So this is my problem.
Well, it's the same with the planning zoning director. What the planning zoning is, pretend it's 10 people and they're staffing these applications for permit, whatever kind it is, could be changing plats, could be conditional use, whatever it is. And apologize for that. So bottom line is, you want to keep a distance because you want to keep a distance between you and these things. You want to
I
be
agree.
conflict-free. Don't want anybody
Exactly.
questioning your vote.
I totally agree, and I understand what you were saying and what Darren was explaining it to me. But there has to be a process for the commissioners to know who has filed any application, whatever the application is, and the person who filed. Otherwise, when I get a phone call from someone and they are yelling at me about something, I don't know who filed I don't know who filed for the application. I don't know anything about the project. I don't know the address. And
Right.
I don't have any answers. I'm not expecting to know the answers or make a decision. What I want to be able to say is, I know that we have your application on file. I am not allowed to have communication with the applicant. But also the people that may be coming around their home, I want to be able to speak with them and tell them, I know it's on file. This is the process. I won't be communicating or discussing it. It's going through the process through planning and zoning. And then planning and zoning will come to the commission on such and such date, present it to us. And then we get to listen to planning and zoning present. And then at that point, can we say, okay, we're going to table this for a week or two, or however long.
That's
I
what
think,
I think Mark's trying to tell us. We
Yeah.
got full control over once we table it. And I didn't, I never did what he's saying, but we've got full control until we talk as a commission, decide what we want to do with it, right? We
Yes,
just
sir.
table it.
What I would say to you, and you're not going to like this answer, but if you're stopped at a convenience store, if you're stopped at church, whatever, someone wants to strike up a conversation with something that's pending, you don't know anything about it, and you shouldn't know anything about it, and you definitely shouldn't talk about it, because you're supposed to have a clear mind, so to speak, or a blank slate whenever the planning and zoning brings in the completed document. It starts with the applicant, goes through your planning and zoning director where he staffs it. He compares what the regulations are with what they're trying to do and whether they meet them or don't meet them, makes a recommendation to the planning and zoning, and then they review it using the tools that they have for public comment and presenting evidence, and they know the regulations as well. It's somebody's pipe dream. It's just imaginary unless and until it leaves planning and zoning in the form of a decision to recommend it to you or a decision to reject it to you. Then, and only then, I'm sorry to say, this is the way the rules are, that's the only time you really care about it, because theoretically, planning and zoning could be getting dozens of applicants for any kind of use, replatting, rezoning, conditional use permits, and they'll really swamp you. You'll get them confused, and there's no need. If you turn down someone that wants a conditional use permit and they're unhappy with your decision, it's kind of imperative that you never knew anything about it until you had time to review it after planning and zoning finished it. You listened to public comments, you listened to recommendations from planning and zoning, the 8 factors that we talked about in Golden versus City of Overland Park, all that stuff. And then you make your decision. But it's awkward to have a citizen that knows you well and knows what you do and says, I just applied to replat my property and I want to sell some lots on it. And you say, good for you. I don't know anything about it, and I insist on not knowing anything about it until somebody makes me know about it, namely planning and zoning. Is that,
No, that makes sense. I want to say that, but I also do not like it when they call and they tell me about this is going in by my property, and
Yes,
they're-
yes,
and I'm like,
yes.
I just want to know the application. I don't want to know anything about the project. I just want to know, yes, I know it's on file, it's going through the process, but I do not like saying, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
well, actually, you can tell them, based on what you're telling me, Mr. or Miss Citizen, there's an application pending, and let me tell you what the process is, and I want you to participate in that.
Right.
Because I can't participate until somebody makes it real. And that making it real is get it out of planning and zoning in one form or another, recommended or not recommended. So I feel your pain, but you need to maybe flip it back on them saying, you're telling me you have an application. I'm happy to hear that. And I fully support your efforts to get whatever you want to get, but I don't know what it is. And I really should know what it is, because if you tell me too much, if you make a big issue out of it, Mr. and Mrs. Applicant, then I'm going to recuse myself and you're not getting my vote. You can't get my vote because you sort of contaminated me. You tainted my vote.
So when planning and zoning comes up here to present, like
Yes,
what he will be doing
yes,
on the Tanglewood,
yes.
I'll hear that.
This is a good example.
It's
They can
great.
bring it up and they can talk to you now, and then chairman tables it and says, thank you very much. We appreciate the input and we're going to set this over, except has it come out of planning and zoning?
It did.
It came to you already?
It's supposed to come today,
Okay.
and I'm okay hearing it if we can table it to next.
If
to the
he
18th.
comes up with it, it's out of planning and zoning, so we can table it.
Well, planning and zoning, are you presenting it or has planning and zoning?
Sean will be presenting today,
planning and
and it'll give him an example of how it's done.
That's it.
But the other thing is, I have a question on what he's presenting. Is there a folder? Is there something like at that point, once planning and zoning approves it or doesn't approve it or whatever it may be, and planning and zoning director comes back to us and presents a verbal presentation, can it come to us with any sort of evidence, anything that they found, site maps?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, how do
I
we
would
see
expect
that? I would expect it too, but I don't,
Yeah.
it's never happened.
Oops. Well, we can fix that. You can fix that.
We can fix that.
Prepare whatever planning.
I mean, I don't want to make a decision on a verbal presentation.
No.
I want to see exactly where it's going. I want to see what you're developing. I want to know the area. I want to know everything.
Everybody knows everything that he knows once planning and zoning says it belongs to you. Because they may send it back and, it'll make you crazy worrying about everything that gets rejected by planning and zoning and by him. Because sometimes they don't want to pay the $100 to apply. They don't want to, when you tell them what they have to do, they say, no, I'm not going to apply and I'm not going to do it. And I'll wear you out. That still
Okay.
doesn't mean they're going to stop, they're going to stop asking you questions at the convenience store and all that. So I would expect a handoff to you in the form of a formal recommendation from planning and zoning for you to consider, not just a few words from somebody. And then you say, this is what we're going to move on. We're going to pass a motion and get 2 or 3 votes on for this specific package. That turn leaves you and then goes back to him, and the applicant gets it from him.
Well, Sean, you might be able to answer this. Does planning and zoning have a program where when applications are filed, is it just in a folder or is it online, kind of like a work order? And we like, hey, we have this application, this is the number. All the documents are being stored in it, kind of like we're doing on the drive right now for your issue, like under Pub Works, it'll have everything, swim beach, whatever it may be, landfill. Can we make it to where we have files so
We can,
know?
we can make what the caseload, I guess, would be for for planning and zoning, what their agenda or their workload, we can make that known. But I think the way it's in the computer is under an Excel spreadsheet, and it's tracked like that until it gets to you on this point. That's my thought. The only thing I know that is in a program is the permit system.
So all of our applications are tracked in just a general Excel file, not a program.
To my knowledge. Now, if when we bought the permit program, we moved them over to that permit program, I'm unaware of it, and we will be finding out as we get into that program what is there.
What's the name of the permit software we purchased?
I believe it's Quest.
Quest?
I believe that's the name of it. If you'll go to the planning and zoning page, it'll be listed there.
On the website?
Yes. It's listed as a permit software to be used to gain a permit.
Okay. I would like to know when you get, your feet wet a little bit, how Quest works, capabilities of Quest, how can we convert everything to Quest? I just want to know all the capabilities of Quest, how that works. So.
Okay.
Would you like to proceed with reading off the Tanglewood?
Yeah,
You want to go ahead and present the cup?
With that, go ahead and present it to us.
Go ahead
and
and-
we'll get.
Okay. Bear with me. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to try to go through this process. The applicant's Tanglewood Lakes, the cup number is 25-01. The requested action is consideration of a 2,160 square foot clubhouse. The legal description is Tanglewood Lakes Plat 70, Block P70, Lot 7, Plat 70, Section 24, Township 20, Range 23, location commonly addressed as 173 Luann Drive, Lacing, Kansas. Currently, this is zoned residential lake community. Zoning and uses nearby are also zoned as residential and lake community. Notices were properly posted in the official county newspaper on December 18, 2024. In addition, notices were sent to landowners of all the properties within pursuant to state law and Linn County regulation. The analysis: adjoining properties are zoned agricultural and mostly residential lake community. The subject property is zoned as residential lake community. The property is located in Tanglewood Lakes utilizing similar ingress and egress. This application for a cup is to permit the applicant's desire to be authorized to operate and build a clubhouse. All necessary notification to surrounding landowners has been properly made by U.S. Postal Service and publication notice of hearing in the official county newspaper. Section 8-3, conditional uses. 8301, in residential lake community district, the following uses are allowed upon the issuance of a conditional use permit in accordance with provisions of Article 20, clubhouses, community centers, and similar uses serving the lake community, churches, and similar places of worship. Staff finds the use does fit the character of the neighborhood, as all nearby properties are residential lake community. The zoning of nearby properties are residential lake community. The property is suitable for the proposed use. The proposed use does not appear to detrimentally affect nearby properties. The property will remain as currently zoned as residential lake community, with the property conditions, the property conditions, the use will not detrimentally affect the public health, safety, and welfare, and would benefit public by providing a boost to local economy. The requested CUP conforms to the Linn County current comprehensive plan. Planning and zoning. Staff recommend approval of this CUP with recommendations and findings from Golden versus the City of Overland Park with a vote of 6-0. Must receive and comply with Linn County building and sanitation codes are the limitations and restrictions listed. And this is submitted by the Linn County Planning and Zoning Director.
Thank you. I guess I'll make a motion.
Do you want to see
I would like to have a copy of what you read
and give us, to all three of us?
for all three of us, for sure. I'd just like to drive out there. I'd like to look at it. Do you guys have anything you'd like to say today? Sorry, this is kind of, yeah, come on up. It's not your project, honestly.
Right.
It's just a process for me, so.
Les Warner representing Tanglewood. I just like to say, what we understood on this was, okay, we submitted the application. We waited the appropriate time before it went to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then we were told that in 2 weeks that it would come in front of you guys for approval or unapproval. So, because the 2 weeks before we did that, they said they had to put it in the paper and everything, which was done for anybody that disagreed or had questions for it. And so we were understanding that today would have been that time period that it would have been approved. And without knowing what all your guys' questions were today. And mainly, and it's kind of weird the way the wording, I wasn't part of the wording part of this, but it is an office clubhouse. It's not just a clubhouse. It is where our office is going to be going to. And it is right, if you're familiar with Tanglewood, it is right off Gate 3.
Okay.
We've actually flattened the area, leveled the area out just to see where things would lay. So to come out, you just have to get a hold of us and we would have no problem with you coming out and looking at where we're going to put the office clubhouse.
Okay. So you had your meeting, or planning and zoning saw it January 14th, I'm assuming.
Right. Whenever, yeah.
And then they should have came back on the 20th.
And that's what I don't understand. It seems to me like after planning and zoning accepts it, it should go to you guys for review, and then within those 2 weeks.
And probably part of this is because we're in the process of hiring a new.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure things probably got messed up a little bit on that. But yeah, I in my opinion, yeah, within those 2 weeks is when, or right after that meeting, they should have the folder, giving it to you guys to review. And then coming up in that time period, this, like today, is that you guys would be familiar with that and yay or nay it from there.
Can you get the information to us, Sean, today or something? Do you think you can get that?
If you mean this,
Yeah.
I can have it scanned and sent out.
Are you good with it? And then we'll decide something next week when all three of us are. Is that?
I would like it this week for sure, and then
Yeah,
on the agenda for the 18th.
Is that good enough for you?
The cup.
and it'd probably be good with Jason here.
Yeah.
It's his district.
Right.
And yeah, the 18th, we wouldn't have a problem. The thing is, we like to get started. We're ready to roll.
It's going to snow this week.
I know. Don't say that. I don't want to go through what we did last few weeks ago. So that's all I gotta say. If you guys have any other questions for me or
I don't think I have any other questions. I just,
If
I
that's-
apologize for the.
well, that's all right.
timing
I mean,
on it.
as long, like I say, yeah, the weather, not too concerned. Yeah, if it was nice, yeah, we'd love to get started and going, but granted, that's not going to be the case probably, but
We'll have an answer on the 18th.
Okay.
If you're okay with that.
sounds great.
I apologize.
All right, preach. Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
When's your birthday?
Actually, Sunday.
this is the ad and debates, but are we still doing the 11 o'clock workshop or?
I think that, didn't we move
I
that?
thought-
Yeah, it's later on in March. We moved that last week or 2 weeks ago, didn't we?
That could be why I didn't have it changed.
No, it's okay. I just
I
didn't
think
know.
we did. I think we talked about that last week. Maybe we moved it on because of something that. That's what I thought, but
I don't know.
if they're not
So
here,
on the fleet management, who was coming over for that? James and Bobby?
yeah, and then Jason was involved in it
And
too,
Jason?
which he'd be, I mean,
And then you think that was moved to March?
I thought it was for some reason.
I'll text James and see if I can get an answer.
What about this appointment?
Oh, I can make a motion. So, back, we
About
all,
two or three
yeah, it
weeks
was
ago.
2 or 3 weeks ago. David Lamb had sent an email to us. Let me go into it. I'll read it.
Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion on these ad and abates. Is this Nate, a refund or is this
They were
yeah,
refunds.
a refund? I make a motion, we approve these ad and abates numbers, 2024, 140, 141, 142, 143. 143 and 144 for a refund of $19,468.70.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You want to sign all these or,
Sure.
okay. Third page on that one, so- or second page. Okay.
Okay. Let me finish this one up. So before David had left, he had sent an email out and it was at the November general election, Karen Springer was elected by write-ins as the Sheridan Township trustee, but she was previously the township treasurer. Ms. Springer has declined the trustee position and would like to be appointed as the treasurer. Karen German was previously the trustee and has agreed to be appointed to that position again. So our motion today would be that I move that we appoint Karen Springer as Sheridan Township treasurer and Karen German as Sheridan Township trustee.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anything else?
We will need a motion to change the meeting next week to Tuesday because of President's Day.
That's right.
I'll make a motion that we move the commissioners meeting from February 17th to February 18th due to a holiday.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 I still have executive sessions, so,
Public comment.
okay. Oh, yeah.
But now we'll open it for public comment. If anybody has any comments.
Okay.
Nobody has any public comment. Okay.
Sean, you have something else?
Just only that as you do executive session, if you'd give me another 5 minutes, non-elected personnel, to give me some directional advice.
So
Regarding okay.
Our newly hires, and I need,
I wanted 5 minutes with Kent as well. So
okay, where we're at, we got 5 minutes with Chastity.
got 5 minutes with Chastity, non-elected. I've got 5 minutes with Kent Harris, non-elected.
Non-elected, 5 minutes. Okay.
Another 5 minutes with Sean.
Let's For,
non-elected.
okay, just a minute.
Thank you.
So 5 minutes with Sean, 5 with Chastity, and then 5 with Kent, you said.
I also have legal. If I have 10 minutes legal with Danielle and Rose,
Danielle and Rose.
and I have another 15 minutes legal with Danielle. It's up to you if you want Rose to go in.
15 minutes. Legal.
If you want her to, it needs to be in the motion.
Yeah, she'll already be in there. It's fine if she says.
So Danielle and Rose would be in both
Danielle and Rose.
of the 25-minute legal.
Both of them, okay. And so we got 25 minutes, okay. 25 minutes total with them too.
Yes.
I'll get it right here in a minute.
Sorry.
5 minutes with Kent, non-elected personnel.
Yeah.
5 minutes with Chastity, legal, and 5 minutes with Sean, non-elected personnel. How much do we need, Mark? How much do we need?
30 minutes.
30 minutes for legal.
Go get my lunch, Mark. I'm kidding.
Mark. Keep track of this. We'll go through
Okay.
5, 10, 20, 25. Let's see. That's 55, 60. I think it's 80 minutes
An
total.
hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
1 hour and 20 minutes total.
I'll run through this. Sean minutes. Sean will be 5 minutes, non-elected personnel. Chastity, 5 minutes, legal. Kent, 5 minutes, non-elected. Rose and Danielle, 25 minutes of legal. And then Mark, 30 minutes legal.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll return at what, that'll be 80, so about 12. Would that be yours?
17.
12:17.
12:17, okay. You guys
You want
can
to do non
We have no action from executive sessions. Anybody have anything else?
We're gonna go back into 5 minutes with Pam Cannon.
5 minutes for non-elected personnel. I make a motion, we go in executive session with the two commissioners and Pam Cannon for non-elected personnel for 5 minutes. It's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll be back.
Don't let us run out of the person. No action.
Do you have something, Sean?
Or earlier for executive session. For personnel.
We messed up.
We did?
It was quite, yeah, you had what's going on.
Okay.
We missed that one then, didn't we? Okay, I guess we'll go back. I make a
Did you
motion,
need legal or no? It was non-elected, okay.
I make a motion, we go back in executive session for 5 minutes with Sean for non-elected personnel.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. No action from executive session. Anybody else have anything?
It's good. I don't have anything today.
Okay. You guys, you're good?
As
Okay.
good as I am gonna be today.
Okay. Well, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Do you want to hand me those and I'll start signing?
Yeah, we got to sign them.
Here's your pin back, Jim.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll remember to put extras in there.
Yeah.
Apparently I.